natural gas. It could power our homes in the future. Test drilling to extract the shale gas has been going on for months. A pipeline has been laid 9,000 feet underground. In the process, called fracking, a mixture of water, lubricants and sand is forced down into the rock, causing it to fracture and release the gas. But drilling has been stopped after an earthquake was felt nearby. The 1.5 magnitude quake is the second in the area in 2 months. Experts say it's a known risk.
It's always recognised as a potential hazard of the technique, but here we're talking about very, very small earthquakes, very, very low magnitude, not likely to be felt by many people, and very, very unlikely to cause any kind of damage.
This is what environmental campaigners in the US say is the result of shale gas leaking into the water supply. But MPs here say any risks can be overcome with proper regulation. The company running the tests in Lancashire, Core Driller, says it takes its responsibility very seriously. It could be weeks before drilling starts again whilst they study the earthquake data. The debate over whether drilling for natural gas is safe is sure to go on longer.
This is fracking. It seems the answer to that question is yes, or a cautious yes anyway, if the verdict of a government-appointed panel of experts is anything to go by. I love our panels of experts. They said today that a process known as fracking, which involves pumping water and chemicals into shale rock at high pressure in order to extract gas, should continue in the UK subject to strict conditions. Test fracking near Blackpool by a company called Quadrilla was stopped last year after there were 2 minor earthquakes. The government panel said the fracking caused these, and indeed they expect more tremors if the process continues. But the report is being seen as a green light for further fracking, not just in Lancashire but across the UK, in Fermanagh, the Vale of Glamorgan, Somerset, Sussex and Kent. I wonder if any fracking is going on near you. Opponents warn of the risk of more earthquakes and more pollution as a result of the process. Are you happy to set aside those concerns if it means your inflation-busting gas bill is slashed? Robert Murphy in Northampton says fracking causes damage to the geological state of the country. It might work in the USA because it's so big, but pumping chemicals into our rocks risks water contamination, and no, I do not think it is worth the risk. So 2 voices against there. Let's see, anyone in favour of it? But where are we buying gas from at the moment? Ukraine? You want to carry on with that? Or frack? Kath Mackay in Bingley, West Yorkshire, says if we invest in fracking, a few people will make an awful lot of money, but I can promise you prices will not come down. Let us speak to Godfrey Bloom, UKIP MEP for Yorkshire and North Lincolnshire, thinks this is sounding good, and Eve Mc Namara from the Ribble Estuary Against Fracking campaign, who thinks it's not. Godfrey first, because I know you're in a bit of a rush. Despite what we heard there with the water table and the earthquakes, you'd say go ahead, would you?
Oh, well, you've got to. Look, we've already wasted one opportunity with nuclear. Then we had North Sea gas and we squandered the money. And here's another heaven-sent opportunity to rescue our economy with cheaper energy, which we simply have to have. I'm afraid it's a no-brainer. We have to go for this. There is simply no alternative. We can't afford energy prices to continue to go up at the rate they're going up. And it's as simple as that.
Eve, why are you standing in the way of it?
Yes, we believe that we have a case against it because it's not just the problem with the seismic activity. There's all the other issues connected with this, and we believe that the regulation framework is not sufficient to cover scaling up of drilling operations. There's the extensive use of water that this process takes, the possible water contamination, the use of chemicals. This is grade A agricultural land that's been...
Your concern is the environment, is it?
It is, it's the environment, because I think water is a resource, and to use that amount of fresh water, that is one of the major issues as well as the seismic activity.
People who worry about the environment say the key is climate change. The way to reduce climate change is to cut greenhouse gases. The way to reduce greenhouse gases is to stop burning gas in the way that we are, and the way to do that is to find a different way of powering the power stations, and that is fracking. So the environmentalists, some of them, argue that fracking is the answer.
But it's burning methane gas. So, and it's a fossil fuel, so I can't understand how you could say that this is an attractive form of energy.
What about the other? Do you want to go nuclear then, or what?
Well, fracking gas, shale gas is a finite source, it's a fossil fuel. It's distracting from renewable energies, is what we should be focusing on. So this is a finite energy source, it's a fossil fuel. As I said, it's distracting from renewable energies. We really should be concentrating on a source of energy that is not finite, that we can use, like wind power, solar power, tidal power.
Thanks so much, Eve. Sorry about our technical problems. Eve Mc Namara from Ribble, Estuary against fracking. Godfrey Bloom, UKIP MEP for Yorkshire, North Lincolnshire.
The time has come to say enough. There is another way.
If you want alternative energy, you don't ask an oil economy to produce it for you. We have to produce it.
The power of the internet enables us to share the depth of this research.
There is an extraordinary, fierce group of people who are taking this on.
We can make a real difference right now.
The simple power of truth.
We're not nearly as insignificant in our impact as we think we are.
There is a force that's more powerful, and that's the power of the people.
We can create a world where people can thrive.
Thrive. What on earth will it take? Be a part of the conversation. Be a part of the solution.